So Rob, welcome back. I mean, it's been a long time since the Pirates fans have been able to hear you. But first of all, a bit about the off season. How the boys been during this time away?
Yeah, no, look, obviously had a 8 week break, which is nice really after sort of winning the league, the celebrations. It gives the lads actually a chance to enjoy it. So they've had a good break. Went away together, which is always good for the group. And now, yeah, they've come back at a good level, and the standards have been high. So now it's just keep driving those standards when we turn up together, and then the games are going to start soon.
We're a couple of weeks into pre-season, but before the boys have been officially able to get out onto the field. But what are your sort of first impressions of how the boys have been training so far?
No, really good. Look, we're really happy. Obviously, pre-season at times can be a little bit bitty where lads have still got holidays and weddings, family commitments and stuff. But on the whole, we've had a large part of the group here to every session, which is important. With the way we play and the detail that we're going through, we need as many here all the time. But no, fitness levels have been good, which as a manager you want lads to come back at good fitness levels, and touch wood, so far we've had no injuries, which is obviously what you always want as a manager as well.
Over the off-season we had confirmation of the fact that we will be playing in Spartan South Midlands Premier Division. What does that mean for you as a manager?
Well, it does. It sort of recruitment-wise, you've sort of when we had that period where it could have been the UCL, you have to wait on recruitment and adapt with that. So, no, we were delighted to go into the Spartan because for the area we're in, I think it's easier to recruit the lads you want if you're in the Spartan. So, no, excited. It's a good league, some good sides, local sides. So, no, really excited to get going.
And speaking of that recruitment, a few boys have been brought in already. You'd expect a few more to come through the door as well before we get into the season in August. What sort of camaraderie and characters are you looking for at the moment to build into the squad?
Look, that's the word you've used is the biggest thing, is the characters. We all know sort of the lads who've recruited, their abilities there, and also their characters. So that's a huge thing for us as a football club to have good people in the building, and they all are. And most of them are local as well, which is also a really good thing to have in terms of not having to travel far for training, for games. But no, really happy with how recruitment's gone. They've fitted in well so far, and long may that continue.
And speaking on a bit more of an individual basis, obviously defensively we've had the announcements of Joe Steele and Rev Kalek, two players on very different parts of their footballing journey, but equally as exciting. Just talk me through the reasons why both of those have ended up at Mullen Park.
Yeah, look, with Rev, we had him watched for sort of 6 months of last season at MK College, so we did a lot of background and a lot of homework on him. He's an exciting young player, still needs time to develop, but he's one that wants to learn and develop, which is a huge thing for us as staff. So no, really delighted to have Rev, good lad, good character, and then Joe Steele is an immense person, first and foremost, really lovely bloke, and look, the levels he's played at and the levels I believe he can still go on and achieve if he keeps himself fit are massive. So no, look, both good characters like we've touched on, and both extremely good footballers.
And a bit further up the field, you've got Lee Watkins and Ben Stevens who've both joined the fray. It's another bit of attacking dynamism, especially in the likes of Stevens.
Yeah, look, exciting again. Ben obviously coming from Kempston, had good stats in terms of goals and assists, so he'll excite the fans. But again, I know I'm sort of harping on about it, the character of him as well, really good young lad who again wants to learn, wants to develop, and wants to push himself and go higher, and that's what we want to do as a club. So he fits into that. And then obviously Lee, again 23, but the experience he's had as a young lad, sort of captaining St Neots, and sort of come through Cambridge and then going on to Bury, who are a big club at step 4. He's got sort of big game experience. So no, delighted to have both them in. Again, good characters, both want to develop, and that's a huge thing for us when looking at our recruitment.
And speaking as well of some players who we've managed to retain, particularly those who potentially are still on the treatment table, a word a little bit on the likes of Ben Walsh, Andy Sinclair and Ben Fitzjohn.
Yeah, look, Walshy obviously was actually really impressive during last pre-season. So it was sort of a horrible moment, the injury obviously with his ACL, but he's progressing really well. He's back out doing stuff with Lottie on the grass now, so it's great to see. Andy's still sort of in limbo a little bit with waiting for an operation, but he's doing sort of bits with Lottie to tick over, but we're just waiting sort of to see what route he has to go down. And then Fitzy, obviously nasty injury again with a leg break, but I think he's now at the point of putting weight on it. Not quite at the rehab sort of mark, but he's in touch regularly and sort of speaking to Lottie. But I think he'll still be sort of another couple of months off before he can start the rehab.
Step 5, a completely unknown challenge to Pirates, but for a lot of these boys, they've very much been there and done that. What can we expect from the league this season?
Look, it's a strong competitive league. There'll be a mix of teams that are big, physical and strong and play direct, and then there'll be teams that sort of try and sort of keep the ball on the floor and sort of bit of dynamism and play sort of good football. But we'll be ready for it. It'll be something we've got to prepare for. But it's exciting, Will. There's another big challenge for us to hopefully go and do well, and hopefully it ends with another successful season.
Another addition, but this time off the field, Pete Thorns in his change of role, coming more into the coaching side. What does a man like Pete Thorns bring into this sort of coaching setup?
Yeah, look, Pete sort of went unknown really in terms of what he was doing, but for me and my preparation, he was watching opposition every week, sort of the recruitment as well, going and watching targets. So he did a hell of a lot on that side, and with now Pete coming onto the coaching staff, just his whole man management and his knowledge of football is really good. He's got good relationships with boys already that know him, and he's building relationships with the new lads, which is good to see. And then obviously replacing him, we've got Mike that's going to come in and sort of do the scouting, who's again really passionate about football and wants to sort of spot talent as well as his analysis side of it. So no, really happy with this staff sort of recruitment over the summer, and it's good to go.
Lots of positives and improvements and developments off the field for Real Bedford at the moment. Pete McCormack in interviews constantly talks about looking seasons ahead and the progression that the club is making. How does that affect you and your team's preparation and performance, especially for this season? Look,
you'd be lying if you didn't sort of look at what could happen and what Pete's talking about. It's exciting. So I don't want us to ignore that, or lads to ignore it. It's big noise. It's great for the area, not just for football, just for Bedford, the community in general. What Pete is trying to create. Look, on the pitch, we have to worry about sort of creating success, because ultimately you've got to get results for it to build within the community, and we've got to be successful for Pete to be able to put those plans into place. But I don't see it as a distraction. For me, it creates excitement, and for me to speak to lads, what a great thing to be able to sort of talk to them about, and what an exciting project it is. It can sort of those chats that you have with boys, that can sort of be the tip in to get them to come into the building, because everyone wants to be part of something that's going forwards, and that is what Pete's trying to create.
Coming to this Saturday, first pre-season game of the season against AFC Rushden and Diamonds. Obviously, they're working at step 4 level now, and we'll be looking to push on. But what can we sort of expect from this fixture? What do you look to get out of the pre-season fixture?
Ultimately, you want to see what you've implemented in training, and lads have taken that on board. So the details we've given them tactically and technically, if they're showing sort of a willingness to learn and develop that, then that's great. And then obviously the fitness levels as well of the game time. But yeah, it'd be a good test. Nunny will have a good side, and one we'll have to take seriously, which we will do, and whether it's pre-season or not. It'd be a game that we want to do well in, and it'll be a game the lads will want to impress in as well.
Thanks, Rob. All the best for the season.
Cheers, Will. Thank you.